Hi friends, welcome back to my training series. I hope you're well and hanging in there. As you can hear, it sounds like I've maybe been running for a few days in the desert. Well, sure enough, after starting this training series at the beginning of the year to document how I was training for the Cocodona 250, last week we ran it. The race started on Monday, May 6th, and spoiler alert, I got to the end too. But let's talk a little bit about how the run went. First of all, as you can tell, my voice is suffering. The dust and smoke, especially at the high altitudes, really combined for some challenges for me. The race started, as I said, Monday on May 6th, the morning. We started a few minutes late, actually, because there was a long line distributing the satellite trackers to all the runners. And at first, everything felt pretty good to me. The runnable miles felt okay at the beginning. And even after the first aid station, where we were required to carry away from there 4 liters of water, I was still feeling pretty good at that point. Not running fast, but, moving okay. But after the water drop at mile 10, that's when the climbing really started, and I found that my challenges also started at the same time. Even though I had practiced the heavy pack and I had tried different water configurations, I think that the weight itself felt comfortable, but the muscles just felt tired when I was trying to make these climbs, and as I was trying to go uphill, I just kept asking myself, like, where's my energy? This is weird. I should feel better than this. I also pooped twice in this section. I had to stop and lie down a few times to rest as I got higher up in altitude, get out of the sun and get some shade. I was just constantly battling fatigue as I was on one of the toughest sections of the course, trying to get to the Lane Mountain aid station at mile 34. So, a lot of struggles the first day. I ended up with plenty of water. That wasn't my problem. Anyway, I finally got to Crown King, where I met Leah. I was a little bit behind schedule, but I wasn't very bothered by the difference in time. It was only, I think, an hour later than I meant to be, but I was mostly concerned about how I felt. I didn't like this lower energy that I wasn't accustomed to. So coming out of Crown King, we do a bunch of hiking along a dirt road from Crown King, eventually getting to a Raster Creek aid station. And then from there, the course features a lot of hiking, especially some really steep climbing up to the Camp Kippa aid station. And in those overnight hours, I was lucky to spend quite a bunch of time with channel member Cameron Mueller, and we had a great time chatting and suffering during these never-ending climbs. So thanks a lot, Cameron, for keeping me company and helping motivate me up those hills. Eventually made it to Prescott, mile 78, where I attempted to do a 60-minute lie-down. I didn't sleep the entire time, but I finally left the aid station at Whiskey Row. Was moving pretty well, though not quite as fast as I had hoped. My body did like walking fast. It liked power hiking, and it likes even shuffling. I could do an easy 16-minute mile without any problems. But I just couldn't get myself to run. I enjoyed the time I was moving between the aid stations, and I was even enjoying the aid stations. When I got to the Fane Ranch aid station at mile 97, I stopped and got a massage. And then when I got to the top of the climb at the next aid station, Mingus Mountain, at mile 109, I stopped for another massage and stretch. So it was really great to get some proactive muscle work done on my tight quads at those 2 aid stations. When I got down to mile 127, Jerome, I slept for 90 more minutes there. And by the time I woke up, the sun was already up. And when I left the aid station, around that same time, the Sedonia Canyons 125 race had just started. So a bunch of the elite pack ran by, and then the middle of the pack ran by, and then I sort of slipped in with that pace and then ran with a bunch of folks who introduced themselves and some people that I knew. And so it was great to have their fresh energy, and all the runners just saying hello. It was fun amongst all of us, by this point, 2-day grizzled 250-mile runners, to have the energy of the 125ers. So this day 3 was for me all about getting to Sedona. So I got down the hill off of Jerome. We crossed the river just before Dead Horse Ranch State Park. And then the temperatures got higher as I got towards the Deer Pass aid station at mile 148, where I had been feeling and running really well across the valley to get to that aid station. But I felt less good after I ate and I pooped. I actually told Leah that I felt like I was going to just like fall asleep while I was just standing there, not necessarily fainting, but not necessarily feeling I had much control over my sleeping either. And because I even slurred a few words while I was speaking, she was concerned about me. So I did stay at that aid station a little bit longer to get feeling better. Eventually I got moving, and even with my slower pace, I was happy I still got to see Sedona in the daytime, and I got to see the sun go down over Sedona. So by the time I arrived at the aid station, it was dark, but I got to see the beautiful sunset colors on the cliff walls. It was really amazing. I got to have massage stretch number 3 at the Sedona aid station before I took another sleep for 90 minutes. And then day 4 started from Sedona for me. And I was feeling pretty good, although unfortunately it didn't last all day. I left Sedona in the dark, and then I crossed the Oak Creek crossing in the dark, followed by the Kasner Canyon Trail climb, which is a really steep climb to get us up onto the plateau. After I got up onto the plateau, I went to the Schnebly aid station and ran really smoothly there, again with a nice little shuffle pace that was faster than walking. And there I met Leah and was delighted to spend some time with her eating a breakfast of chili and pasta before I moved on to do the Schnebly to Munds section. Now, the Schnebly to Munds section in the past has been quite an emotional challenge for me, doing it in the middle of the night. I guess I knew there wasn't really that much interesting happening in that section, and seeing it in the daytime this year really, I guess, proved that. But at least I didn't have an emotional breakdown. I got through that section just fine. In fact, I was extra motivated to get to Munds Park because not only Leah was there to crew me, but my parents were volunteering at the aid station. So it was great that I got to say hello to them. And I got my 4th massage of the run. And then from there, I was pretty excited because the next 2 sections were going to be getting me to Fort Tuthill in Flagstaff, and I had been running pretty well up to then. But as soon as I left the Munds Park aid station, my lungs kind of came to a halt. I was probably only 100 yards from the aid station when I started to cough and have problems breathing because there was so much dust collection and mucus in my lungs. And in the past, what I have done during this race in the last couple of days was lie down for 15 minutes or 20 minutes, and that would settle the stuff so I could cough it out. And I had learned that during Tahoe 200 in 2022. But this wasn't working at Munds Park. I couldn't get the stuff to come out of my lungs. So I basically just began a long struggle to get from there to Munds Park at mile 210. I realized I was a bit dehydrated, and so I spent a lot of time rehydrating. I needed to get a lot more water in my system. The dehydration was making it a lot more difficult for me to clear my lungs. Okay, so once I was kind of back on top, I slept a little bit there at mile 210. This was again Fort Tuthill, and then got ready for the day ahead. So I left Fort Tuthill and ran to Walnut Canyon, and it was freezing. I was moving pretty well, just shuffle pace, but I was starting to fall asleep while I was running. I'd find myself waking up just kind of, from a sleepwalk, essentially. And I was so cold, but I knew that it was really too cold to lie down. It would have been dangerous. So I just kept pushing myself to get to the aid station, where I finally arrived just after sunrise. There I ate some food and continued on for the last big push up and over Mount Eldon. And Mount Eldon is often talked about as one of the, key points of the race because it's just, I think the climb starts like 10 miles before the finish line, but it's a 2,000-foot climb where you're starting at 7,000 feet. So the mountain is 9,000 feet high when you get to the top. And that climb for me was the slowest I've done yet up and over that mountain. And I'm a decent climber, but I just had no energy, and my lungs could not get me the energy and oxygen that they needed. So I was often stopping, and I was going really slow. Eventually I got to the top. I had a little bit of a break and ate some food, and then worked my way down, suffering from the high altitude as I was trying to run down the hill. But then that high altitude problem was compounded and made worse by smoke, because there was huge prescribed burns in the area around Flagstaff during the days we were running up there. And so as I came down off Mount Eldon, it was really smoky. And so I was now battling that. I pushed hard, sucked as much smoke in as I could in those last few miles, and finally got to the finish line with a time of 107 hours and 7 minutes. That's my slowest of my 4 Cocodonas, but I don't mind. I've had quite a variety of time finishes at Cocodona now, and with finishing it at a 4th time, I'm now in the 1,000-mile club. And it feels like quite an achievement, and I'm really excited about it. We had a good week overall, even though there was a lot of struggle. There was a lot of cooperation with some new friends. We had good weather and some surprises, like seeing mountain lions and cool horny-toed lizards on the trail. I think overall, my body held up pretty well. My respiratory issues were definitely a challenge, and whatever was causing sort of a systemic low energy from the beginning was a problem. But besides that, my feet took the brunt of it. My body overall, everywhere except my feet, feels great. My toes are damaged. My undersides of my feet have some deep blisters. And I did shoot some video today as I unwrapped my feet and took the tape off in the tub and got them all cleaned up. So if you are someone who's quite interested in seeing how nasty feet can recover, I don't really necessarily know how they're going to, just that over time they will. So I'm going to be documenting some shots of my toes in a very opt-in location. So if that's something that interests you, you will find how to find that footage. And if you're not, don't worry, it won't surprise you. Okay, so that's how Cocodona went. The plan for this upcoming week is pretty much all rest. I'll be syncing with my coach at some point this week to discuss Cocodona in detail. But my main plan right now is to rest and eat. And in fact, it's late now. It's been a long day. I was traveling from Arizona back here and resting a little bit before I got to get this video out before I go to sleep. So I'm going to end that one here. We will be hopefully having another video next week. And then if you have any questions about Cocodona, please put them in the comments below, and in next week's video where I update you on how recovery is going, we can talk about some Cocodona related questions. Okay, with that, I'm going to put this weary head to bed, and I look forward to hearing from you in the comments, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. I wish you a great week. All right, talk to you later. Bye.